Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Oh, this is really weird without any music. How goes it? Hopefully everything looks okay. It does on my end, at least. Hope everyone's well, and welcome to a what hopefully is a pretty cool sort of little programming detour we are doing. So I just got, as you can see by my camera, I just got my a new MIDI keyboard in because I have been wanting to get back into all music production stuff and whatnot. And so I ordered this baby. It just came in today, and with a good thing and a bad thing, it does not have sort of like deeply ingrained support for FL Studio. Now, this is mostly fine because, you know, like it still does, here, I don't have like a, so it still does like basic MIDI controller stuff. So I have like a piano thing here. Now, oh no. That was the one thing I didn't test is my audio works. Hold on one second, y'all. Now the real question is I don't know why I didn't check this before and I feel like a dumbass. Give me 1 second. Of course I didn't do this. Anyways, I'm just gonna talk while I try and figure this out. So it works as like a keyboard, and there's like drum pads up here and stuff. And those are all just like inputting MIDI notes, so they work. But it doesn't do things in such a way that I would like. So there are some things I want to change. So that's what we're going to be working on today, just because the FL Studio team just released MIDI scripting with the newest version of FL, which I just downloaded. It's still in beta, but yeah, so I can use Python scripts to work with my MIDI controller, which is super cool because I can program and I know Python. So first things first, I need to figure out why my audio output is not outputting to out A1 status main device status on. Yeah. ACO type. Okay, why is this not working? So yes, I'm making noise right now. You guys can't hear it. Oh geez. This is the most scuffed thing I've ever done. Okay. Wait, can my ASIO not go out to my... Okay, we need to... I apologize that this is like hella scuffed right now. What's going on, Will? Throwback with FL? Indeed. I still use it, actually, because I have a license and I know how to use it somewhat, so... it is Python, yes. So the MIDI scripting is all in Python. Okay, so I need voice meter, banana, here, let me see if I can just do FL Studio audio to OBS. I bet you I'll find a video for it.
Yo, what is up, guys?
Well, oh, that's not what I want. Connecting audio from Ableton and FL Studio for live streaming. Great, okay. I'm just gonna bullshit this video real quick. Wait, hold on.
So when you're okay, but no sound, use audio again, and once you have downloaded Soundflower, you what was it? Multi-output device. So outputs that device you're gonna check.
This is on a Mac. That doesn't help me. I'm gonna stream FL Studio with Audio on OBS. Hardware method.
What?
That doesn't help me. I don't want a hardware method. I'm sure this is like literally just a settings change that I just didn't make. and I don't know why. So for reference here, while I try and struggle to get this working, so FL Studio, or sorry, Voice Meter Banana is the virtual mixer I use to like route all of my audio and stuff into OBS. It just makes life easier. I also use it. It's really good for, you can use it for an ASIO driver. So what ASIO drivers are, it's basically allows you to have really low latency audio drivers. So the point of this is if you have a MIDI controller, when you, obviously you can't tell this, but when you can actually see the volume for FL at the top. When you press keys, there's like very little delay between me pressing the key and it actually happening. So like if I were to change, I won't change this because it might fuck things up. But the point is that on a more normal audio driver, oh, it worked. That was it. Okay, that's a little loud. Well, great. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that's a little quieter. If someone could like let me know if that seems good enough with my voice, I think. Like I think this is fine. I'm just looking at the colored bars. I think it's fine. It might be a little loud. Sounds in line with the volume of my voice. Okay, I'll turn it down just a little bit. Yo, what's going on, Matt? How's it going, dude? Okay, now that we've gotten over that incredibly scuffed part, thank goodness we have audio. That's good. Okay, so I don't need you anymore, video. It was apparently just on the wrong thing. So, like I said, it still works, right? Like you can still do, like I can play the piano, the keys work. You can change the octave as well. Now it's slightly quieter. Is that good? As long as you can hear it and hear me, I think that's fine. Yeah, like I said, oh, it probably just crashed, didn't it? I'm finding that assuming because this is the beta one or because I'm using scripting, it has crashed on me a few times. So I would expect that tonight. But like I said, it still works. So like I can also like, oh, now I can't hear anything. That's good. Oh, did it just die? What? Please. Is this working? Okay, well now it's just not working. What? Oh my god, it's crashing again. Wait, no. I'm just a dumbass. Okay. Anyways, it's kind of not stable right now. But what you can do is you basically just go here and it has a script output. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's because I have a syntax error. That's why. Unexpected end of file while parsing. Whoops. Oh, it's because I commented out this comment line, because I don't want to print this anymore. I'm just gonna do return. So how this works, it's actually a pretty neat system. So they have, I'll link the docs in the, here, I'm gonna link the docs in chat in case you're interested to follow along at all. So how it works is it's like an event handler system. So if you ever used JavaScript before, JavaScript uses a lot of event handler stuff on the browser. So this is like very similar. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Oh, okay, I might be a dumbass, actually. My voice should have just gotten louder because I think I accidentally turned myself down. Anyways, so it basically has a bunch of events, and then FL Studio calls the events whenever those events happen, and you define functions with those event names, and then it'll run whatever's in those events. So object does not have attribute keys. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is basically, so there's, here, let me see. There are data types on the thing. So for the most part, they give you this event data here, which is the data type for a MIDI event. So the sort of important part here is one is handled. So what handled might do is our first event listener that we actually care about is on MIDI in. So on MIDI in gives you the way it describes it is on MIDI in calls first when a MIDI message is received, and basically what you can do in this function is that your events have something called event.handled, and you can set that, it's a boolean, so you can set that equal to true or false in this message. So if you set it to true, what you can do is that it'll basically stop propagation. So again, if you've used JavaScript before, this is the same as doing event.prevent default. This is just, you're just telling FL Studio that, hey, I know you think this is like, you know, there's like a normal behavior for this, like if I press a key, the normal behavior is to play that MIDI note. But this is saying that, hey, you know, we can handle this ourselves and things are fine. So if you set handle to true, then basically it'll just, yeah, you can just filter it out. What we're concerned about right now actually is not so much. So I don't know how MIDI works on a deep level, which is what I'm trying to figure out right now, because, so if we look at event, each event has a note. If I go, oh, that's Sunny opening the door already. So fast, hold on 1 second. Oh, Capital True Python, you're right, thank you. Hi, you're staying in here. Yeah, thank you. I don't use, excuse me, I don't use Python enough to remember that. I will remember it shortly. Okay, so each MIDI thing has a note number. So if we go ahead and print the note on event in, so we can just save our script, then we go to FL Studio, reload our script. Great. And so then if you play notes, so actually, this is, so like 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. Like this is me just going up the keyboard, and then if I like drop it an octave, like it's gonna be 36. So like that is as you'd expect. The problem is here is that I also have knobs. So if you notice these, I don't know how clear the camera is, these top two rows are knobs. So I also want to mess with the knobs. The problem is that the knobs have like note values that are the same as keys. So this knob here, which is my my 2 knob, is 74. But if you notice, if I go up an octave, there you go. So if I play a D6, this is also 74. So there's a way to determine whether or not it's a note or a knob, I think, because like if you notice, like when I turn my 2 knob, right, it's not playing MIDI notes. So clearly it knows that it's not, you know, triggering notes. It's not supposed to be. I don't know how it determines that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I was messing around with this for like 5 minutes before stream. Our food got a little delayed as it was coming in, so I was doing that in the meantime. So yeah, that's the first order of business basically, is to figure out how that works. So the MIDI data, I believe, is like the raw data, I think. Yes, so specifically what we're outputting is the MIDI note number, and then yeah, so this is 74. So the other thing that we have at our disposal here is that our, let me close out of this. So my keyboard has its own like MIDI controller thing. So this is like specifically software for the keyboard that I have. It allows you to change what's called the CC number, which is, from what I can understand, corresponding to the note numbers. So these are, I guess, like these are like common numbers so that DAWs can just interpret them as needed. So like because knob 2 is setting note to 74, it's saying it's 74 on this list, not necessarily that it's like I forget what it is, a D6, right? Every MIDI input has its own channel and an own type. Oh, okay. So maybe we'll look at the MIDI channel then. Maybe that determines. It's kind of sad that I don't have syntax highlighting, but yeah. So yeah, the only bummer actually, and I just found this out. So what I was hoping to do is I have a shift button up here, and what I was hoping to do is basically use shift to like, I don't know, really like open a lot of things. And there might be a way I can work around that and do that, but it unfortunately looks like shift basically transfers. If you notice here, my keyboard has 8 device memories. The first one is read-only, and you can edit the rest of them. If you hold shift and press the pads, it actually switches between those device memories, and it looks like I can't actually do anything. Like this doesn't, the shift button does not send a MIDI symbol. Like I can't do anything with it, which is kind of a bummer because I was really hoping to have like shift and then the pads be like opening different views in FL, but I don't know. I think that's fine. So there's some editing I can do with here, and that might help as well. Okay, so we're gonna check the MIDI chan. So I need to reopen FL. And I need to save the script because I have not done that. And then it's view. I wish this had a keyboard shortcut. Okay, so the chain is 48. Oh, did that actually change? I probably have to reload. Chain is 0. Chain is 0. Everything is 0. Oh, is that what the... So the other thing that shift does, it's in blue text here, so it's kind of hard to see. But the MIDI channel, you can also change. It still says it's 0. So I don't actually know what that does, but... Okay, so it's not the MIDI channel then. So it's the same. There's the MIDI chan X. What is that? Let's just Google for this. I was hoping that my sort of hope was that the Wikipedia MIDI article provided more information. It sadly does not. There is a... Oh, here you go. Main article, MIDI 1.0. So... Oh, sorry. That's where we are. Okay, well, that's kind of confusing. Okay, so implementation chart. What is general MIDI? It's the standardized specification for electronic music instruments that respond to MIDI messages. Okay. Oh, this is like MIDI files, which I actually don't care about as much. Show control, machine control, timecode tuning standards. See, I don't know if any of this helps me, I'll be honest with you. And there's also MIDI 2.0, but like, that doesn't really help me either. What is MIDI mockup? Extensive demo recording project using samplers. Oh, okay, that doesn't... I also don't care about that. So there's also the MIDI.org has all the specs of actual things. So I don't know if these help me. MIDI names, device types, and events in XML. Let's look and see what these are. XML DDT for MIDI messages. Note on... Oh god, this is confusing. I am not using XML, so... Oh, this is from 1996. Wow, this is I have to log in? What? Version 2 MIDI implementation. I don't want to log in. Alright, I can just bullshit it. So I looked at the port already, it's not that. So let's look at the data. I think the data gives us the actual like raw message of the MIDI thing. Okay. Okay, apparently not. Okay, what does data 2 give us? Because that just looks like the node name. Ooh. Oh, those values are different. Oh, and these buttons are giving me things. Oh, the only other thing worth noting here is I've just realized, I think the reason why I have 2 outputs of everything, and I was wondering about that, is I think that I'm sending the master sync to my port. So I'm actually going to stop doing that. Okay, no. That's a note release. Okay, so data 2 in this case actually is the value. This is the value of the knob. So 127 is the max. And then it goes back down to 0. Okay, so for the key, the key is the velocity. Okay. It should be something like a tuple of MIDI channel, note value, pitch, velocity, time since start. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. So for the notes, the data 2 is the velocity because I'll hit it lightly and then... And the reason why the velocity, to be clear as well, the reason why the velocity values aren't going down a lot right now is because I noticed that the velocity was like really quiet. So I kind of, FL Studio allows you to change the velocity mapping on your controller. So that's why, like, if I press it like very lightly, it's still not that low. I might change that later, but it's fine for right now. Cool. So okay, so it's not data 2. So it mentions something about the fact that, and let me open up the second tab of this, because I want to be able to refer to that this event data thing, but there's stuff up here that I care about too. So it says the raw data is included handled, timestamp, status, data 1, data 2, port, sysex, and PME flags. So actually, let's just go ahead and, okay, so we know what data 1 and data 2 are. I'm going to make notes here as well. So data 1 is note name. Data 2 is velocity for notes / value for knobs. And then I think just to make sure, I believe the pads should... Yeah, the pads also have velocity because they're basically just playing MIDI notes as well. Okay, so handled, if true, will skip on MIDI message. I should capitalize the true, otherwise I will forget to do that later. Okay. And then what else do we care about here? Or what else does it give us? So timestamp is probably just like a, I don't know what that gives us. Reload script. Timestamp is giving us a whole lot of nothing. I don't know what that does, but that's fine. We'll just make a note of that. Timestamp is question mark. Okay, status is the next one. Yeah, that's my only complaint so far is that when you look at the event data, okay, I guess it provides documentation of it, but like, I don't know, it doesn't help that much. Like, I wish they'd link, if they could link to the MIDI specification, like, for this, that would be helpful. Maybe I should leave feedback. This isn't beta, so I feel like at some point I should probably write up my, my experience doing this, you know? Okay, so status. Oh, those are, like, actual status codes, I presume. It doesn't look very intuitive. Yeah. Okay, let's look up MIDI status codes, because those probably have some sort of meaning, I assume. Summary of MIDI messages. That doesn't necessarily help me. MIDI tutorial for programmers. So the nice part is, right, is that this is talking about, like, the raw bytes of this, which thankfully I don't have to worry about. But I will have to convert it because I don't remember how to do that manually. Okay, so note on, note off, so that makes sense. So this is, yeah, 144, 128. And then I assume that... Oh, the pads actually send different messages. Okay. So let me look... So that's in bytecode. Okay, yeah. That makes sense then. So am I just dumb? Can I just get a binary to decimal converter? Great. Am I dumb? Oh, it's 128 because it's okay, yeah. That's note off, right? Is that correct? Yep, okay. Note on, great. Okay, so I can just actually convert my things here. So let's go ahead and clear our output. So 144, I assume, is note on. We're just going to double check that. Oh, I have to swap between the two. That's really annoying. Okay. This is 1001, which, yep, channel voice messages. Oh, N is a, who's it? Oh god, what's the term for that? My computer engineering classes are failing me. Is it a not care? Is that what it is? It can be either. I don't remember. I did not like those classes. Is it a don't care? Is that what it is? Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. NNNN is 0 to 15, MIDI channel number 1 to 16. So we're using MIDI channel 0. So that's why. Python also has a decimal to binary. Oh, okay. So the only other problem is that I found that it doesn't have. I tried to import the JSON library earlier, and it was like, we don't have that. Also, what's going on, Jack? Okay, Python decimal to binary. All numbers are stored in binary. What? Am I dumb? Oh, it's just been? Oh, yeah, that works. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do bin of event status. Cool. I have to say the weirdest part about all this is streaming without music feels so odd, like playing music. I have nothing in my ears and I'm so used to it. It's very strange. Cool, so we can reload our script. Okay, so this gives us our actual ones that we can use to compare easier. Thank you for the suggestion there, Matt. I appreciate it. Okay, so polyphonic key pressure. This often is most by pressing down the key after it bottoms out. No, that's not. Anyways, I should look and see what I'm getting here. So let's turn a knob. That's 1011. Control chains. This message is sent whenever controller value changes include devices such as pedals and levers. Controller numbers 120 to 127 are reserved as channel mode messages. Okay, so it gives us the controller number, and VVV is the controller value. Okay, great. Well, that's how we tell the difference. So that's nice. So let's look at our other things. So a few other features. All right, so the pads. What is that? That's 1001, but with some other things on there. Is it sent over a different channel? Is that what's happening here? So this is 1001, and then it's got another. Which 1001 is? I don't remember that. Anyways. So node on, right? That makes sense. So channel voice messages. So it must be just coming from a different MIDI channel. Excuse me as I Google stupid things because. Okay, so that's 9. So that's coming on channel 9. Oh, that's a different code though. What is that one? 1010. is polyphonic key pressure. This message is most often sent by pressing down on the key after it bottoms out. So is that like sustaining? Is that? No, because it doesn't show up on our keys. It only shows up on... Okay, so it's basically if I hold down on the pad. But otherwise it just shows... it just shows note on and note off, like normal. That's kind of weird. Okay, the only other thing... Oh, so I have also this. So this is the detune wheel and then the mod wheel. They're not wheels, though. They're just pads, which is kind of interesting. So that's 1110. Channel 1 messages. Okay, so 1110 is pitch bend change. This message is sent to indicate a change in the pitch bender, wheel, or lever typically. Great. So that's handled there. And then the other one is the modulus, which is 1011, which is the control one, right? Control change. Okay. It also has patch number changes. So the only other thing we have left is that we want to look at... So these two knobs here, they have a... Again, I don't know how good the camera can see it. These two knobs allow you to press down. And it looks like they still just send control change messages. So maybe let's go ahead and change the... I'm going to go ahead and print both... print the event note as well here. And then that way we can go ahead and see. So this is... so this gives us note 112 on this knob, and then pressing down is 113, and then pressing and turning is 112. Okay, and then we're getting 36 there, but it's just a different channel. Okay. Okay, so that gives us a general idea of how we can sort things. So we can make our own function here. So let's make a function that is note related. Or I guess we more so want to filter on the fact if it's a control. Is control event. So we'll just take the status, and then if... so how we need to figure this out? So we need to compare binary numbers, but all we really care about is these first 4 digits. All right, so how do I do that? So if I have test equals bin of... how can I make a new... So they have a Python interpreter here, so I'm hoping it works mostly like the normal Python interpreter. Okay, cool, it does. So I can make variables and stuff, so that's really helpful. Okay, like, can I access, so test equals bin of 144, let's say. So test is that. So test at position 0, does that work? Okay. Test to position 1 is B. Test to position 2. Oh god. Okay, weird. So that works in a kind of janky way. So if we take a... So test is still here. Oh god, I can't type. So if we take... test, if we slice on, that'll be 2 to last number is exclusive. I need 4, so it'll be 6, right? Yep. Okay, so test 2 to 6 will give me the... So if I guess like message definition, right, is equal to status from 2 to 6, and then if message definition... Am I supposed to camel case things in Python? I don't remember. It's fine. Oh, there's not supposed to be print these there either. Ah! It's like I'm coding JavaScript. So message definition is equal to... okay, how do I compare those though, right? Is this going to end up as a string? I'll snake is Pythonic. Oof. All right, I will obey the constructs of the language. Okay, so can I do type of? Is that? Like, can I display the type of a thing? Right? It's just type? Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can do this. Okay, oh, I want to print that. Great, so now if we go ahead and, oh, I need to call this function somewhere, so run is control event with status event.status. And then we can go ahead and get rid of these because I sort of know what I'm doing here. Okay, let's go ahead and on the here. Oh, that's curly braces instead of a colon. Whoops. I've written Python before, I swear. Great, so then let's go ahead and boop. Type int object is not subscriptable. Why did it let me do that then? Oh, it's because I'm not converting it to binary. Okay. That's why. I was very confused as to why that was happening. I was like, I just did this. Okay. Okay, so it does turn it into a string. That's fine. So, all we're doing here is basically whether or not this should control so basically if it's a control event, we probably want to intercept it. I think for the most part that like I'm gonna leave, so at the very least I'm leaving the keys alone. Those can work just, maybe I'll do something with them, but for the most part, like I don't need to mess with the keys. The pads are, I need to do something with the pads, but we'll deal with that a little bit later. But for the most part, like anything, the knobs, I just want to be able to program to do whatever the hell I want. So that's all this function is helping me accomplish, is basically rooting that out. So if the message, oh my god, I can't write Python. If message definition is equal to, should be 1101, I think, is what we looked at. Control change is 1011. Oh. 1011, great. And then, so if that's the case, then we're gonna go ahead and return true with a capital T, and then otherwise we're returning false. So now we should be able to, let's put this into a variable. Wow, I really can't type. Is control is equal to the result of that function. And then we can just print is control. So hopefully this works. Let's find out. What's going on, Tim Conceivable? I never realized you could script in FL Studio. This literally just got added. So this is we are in 10.7, which is currently a release candidate version right now. You have to like go on their forums somewhere. I don't remember where it is. So you have to download the 20.7 beta from the forum. Let me go ahead and link that. Great. So yeah, here's the forum topic where you can go ahead and download 20.7. It is a release candidate though, right? So like the usual warnings of, like it's in beta, so like things might break. It has crashed on me quite a few times already. Maybe that's due to my script being awful, but who knows? But yeah, they literally just posted this a month ago, so this is like brand new. So yeah, it's very exciting. And it's only for MIDI controllers, to be clear. It's not really like, I don't think it's a widespread scripting. It's mostly just for controlling MIDI devices. Great. So, let's go ahead and reload our script. Now let's see what we got. So yeah, these should all be false. Great. And then these should all be true, as well as the turns. Great. So then this is not considered one, and this is considered one. And then me just make sure all the knobs work. They all should, but you know. Knobs, 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 knobs. Okay, great. Awesome. So then that's basically handled. So the other thing I wanted to do was I had, what is that doing actually? Oh, I was not pressing Control O, apparently. I thought I was. Okay, so I made a little markdown document to basically show what I'm trying to do here. So some of these were written before I realized that I have some physical limitations here. So the main one that I want to do is actually with the pads. So that, like I said, the keys are probably fine as is. The pads, what I want to do is, so the main drum machine I use in FL is called FPC. I need to remember my keyboard shortcuts. So FPC does some neat stuff with velocity and whatnot, but the main goal is that it basically allows you to have like a drum pad layout that looks like, you know, like a whatever they are, MPCs, right? Akai MPCs, like your traditional drum pads, right? So look at all the semicolons, Python weeps. I can have them though, right? My shit's working. Here, hold on. AutoPep is not installed. Yes. Oh god. Why am I in my Space Station 14? Oh god, close. Can we close that workspace, please? That was weird, sorry. Can I open a file, please? Okay, so it's in Documents, Image Line, FL Studio, Settings, Hardware. Boop. Sorry, I was trying to download it. I was trying to get my no such file or directory. Okay, well, they used to put two commands in one line. Oh, okay. Well, sorry, bad habits from JavaScript, I heard. Or they're a habit in JavaScript. They're not good nor bad, but anyways. Okay, well, the semicolons are now fixed. So what I want to be able to do, and I don't know if I can do this. We're going to try and find out, but my aspirational goal is that what I would love to do is, let's say I have FPC loaded for my drums, and let's say I've got some sort of synth loaded, so I'll just load up an instance of Citrus. So, sorry, that's really loud. Cool, so I have a synth loaded. What I would love to be able to do is that even though my synth is the currently ARM track, right, and is working with my keys, I would love for the pads to use FPC. So basically, if it can try and detect an instance of FPC and then use it, that would be sick. Now, I don't know if I can do that, and I think there might be some ways to do that. Arturia, okay, no import set, click to assign. Okay, so maybe I can just do that automatically, and we'll see if I can just do that here. Oh god, what's happening? Yeah, so this like isn't what I want, because now I can't play notes through my other thing. It's only playing notes through the drum. Oh god, I can't press the keys. Yeah, so anyways, that's not what I want. So ideally, I'd love to be able to do that. That would be fantastic. That would be really handy. That way, like, if I'm ever like, you know, here, so let me change this receive notes from unlock. So like if I'm ever noodling around with like a synth or a bass, right, I can also like sort of mess with the drums at the same time. Now, realistically, right, most of the time I'm just gonna like, you know, program drums separately and then go program my synths. But for the purposes of like me having something to do, and I think it'd be useful, I'm gonna try and do that. As far as other things I'm trying to do, open recent. Just open this. So, yeah, I don't really know what to do with knobs, but since the 1 and the 9 here have clicks, that seems like something useful. And then this was the other pad. I wasn't sure what it does, but this is the modulation. The pitch shift works fine. I don't think I have to like, so if I do, it should work fine. It was working fine before. So what I really wanted to do was make shift plus pads. So like if I press shift and press my pads, it would open and close views. And I don't think I can do that. So I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that basically I have, I can't open it up now because I have FL Studio open, but I have a program that manages like the MIDI for this, and it has 8 banks. So what this shift is actually doing is that you can like switch between the different like preset banks, which is, you know, is fine, I guess, but like, I don't really care about that. So we might still be able to bullshit out a way to do this. But the problem is I don't think this sends a MIDI signal. Well, I guess let's see if it does. So let's go ahead and clear our output. Oh, okay, so it does actually send a MIDI symbol. Oh, okay, well that's actually pretty helpful. So maybe we actually mess with that. So let's go ahead and output. So it's not a control thing, it's probably just a note, but I want to confirm that that's the case. So let's go ahead and output it and see what that is. Could you tie it up to channel volume or something? Oh, yeah. Yes. I think you can, the problem is, right, is that there's a certain amount of this I think I can already do in FL. So if you notice up here, there's this little knob here. Whenever I press something, you'll notice it sort of lights up green. That, I believe, is whenever I receive a MIDI event. So I think how this works, and I don't remember here. Let me test this. I've done this before when I had my other thing. Oh, here you go. So if you right-click on a knob and you click Link to Controller, I believe what happens is if I turn this knob, there you go. So now automatically links that. So now, it's like kind of, I should have meth cut off. That's more influential. So you can already do that. So that's where I'm conflicted about the knobs, because like I don't know if it's that useful to programmatically do that, because you can do that with like a lot of things in FL, like pretty much anything. So any of the knobs for sure you can right click Link to Controller. Yeah, so like any of the channel, like this is channel panning, channel volume, you can also do that. Yeah, there's a lot of potential with that. Something I actually thought was kind of cool. Let me close out of this real quick. I got another piece of software with the keyboard called Analog Lab, and I was opening it to check it out. It's basically just like a sampler and has a bunch of instruments in it. One of the cool things that it does, so it's like made by the same people who made the keyboard, so it has like some extra features. One of the cool things they do actually is if you use the 2 knobs over here that allow you to click, basically do special things. So in here, what they allow you to do is basically, you'll notice up here on my presets, they circle through the presets, or they cycle through the presets, and then you can click and it'll switch to that preset. So then I can like move and then maybe these all sound the same. I don't actually know what's going on, but oh, sorry. The actual presets are here. It's the second knob, but I can like, anyways, the point is that I can change my shit, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I can do that with FL Studio, and I don't know if it just control like the current instruments presets, but like that would be really neat. So I thought that was perhaps a neat idea, although I don't know how feasible it is. I want to use scripting to randomize loops. So say I can make a basic drum loop but have it randomized a bit so it constantly varies. Ooh, that would be really interesting, actually. And you're saying like every time it runs, it like slightly varies it? I feel like there's like something related to that, but I don't know how it works. Okay, well, let me open keys so I have nice sounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and open back our script output back up. Let's go and reload our script. Cool, so our control things are working. All right, what's next? So let's go ahead and close out of the forums. Let's just go ahead and sort of scroll through the API reference to see what we can do with it. So these are all the script modules we get. They're all the custom modules you can do via FL. Let's see what we can do. So playlist. The playlist allows you to control FL Studio playlist. So you can get the track counts, you can get track names, you can set a track name. You can get a track color. Set track color, is track muted, mute track, solo track. Okay, that's nice. I assume the activity level is like the actual sound, like the bars. Trigger live clip. Ooh, interesting. Probably not too interested in doing live clips. If I were wanting to do something like, it would be like live performance, I'd probably just buy a Launchpad, to be honest, and work with that. Okay, so channels allow you to control channels. So that's the, okay, channels are here, that's right. So with channels, we can get the track number, we can set the track number, get the track name, get track color, solo track. Okay, that's fine, I guess. So one of the nice things, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is that talking about the knobs, you could probably use the script to have the knobs be initialized to things. So, right, so because we can like right click on each of them and set them to something, like that's useful. You know, don't get me wrong. I should just move that over. But like, for example, it might make a lot of sense to have the first, so it's, how many knobs do I have that aren't the click ones? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like the first 7, the top 7 knobs might be good to just be like the channel volumes for the first channels, or like, we'll just say probably more useful, the first 7 mixer tracks, right? So there can be some like initialization that we're doing here. Now that will have to happen automatically, right? So, but that's the point, right? Is that we're making a custom script for this keyboard. So like we know what all the values are for this keyboard, so like we could pretty easily initialize those to things. So that might be something to think about. And I think that is like, you know, a legitimate use where like, so there's a very good chance that like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Actually, as I was like looking into this, funnily enough, if you go into the scripting forums, someone actually requested this keyboard. There has been a reply, this looks like he's a moderator or something, but someone's asking for, I have the Arturia Minilab, oh sorry, I have the Minilab, so sorry, this isn't the exact request, but I don't know if anyone has asked about the Minilab. There are more topics. Anyways, so no one specifically asked for this keyboard, I'll be honest, I forget that the Keylab is bigger, I'm pretty sure. And the Keylab and the Minilab are slightly different, but there's a good chance that I can just actually post it on the forums afterwards, and you know, so with that in mind, oh excuse me, having it have good defaults I think makes a lot of sense. Okay, so device launch map pages provide different behavior for controller depending on which mode it is launched in. I don't know if I need to know as much about that. Script files. Okay, so so with that in mind, maybe we just go ahead and do that. So there's also the UI. Oh, I clicked on UI module and it did not take me there. User interface module. Ooh, okay, so this can select tracks. This can move up, move down. Oh, this is really nice, actually. You can like automate the entire, you can control the entire UI. Get hit message, window handling. Menu, helpers. Oh, also another thing I want to do actually is that I don't know if I can control this. What I would love to do also is that, and I should make a note of this actually, is that with the pads have lights. So you can see it when I press the pads. They light up, okay? And also, these buttons have lights as well. So they're used for things mostly, right? But like, you know, you can imagine having it, because I'm pretty sure, and someone who knows MIDI better than I can probably like correct me here, I'm pretty sure you can send information to the controller as well from FL. I think like that's the output part. So like having the metronome send to the MIDI controller so this light flashes with the metronome would be super sick. And I think that's probably doable. Maybe that's like a good thing to try and do first. Okay, I'll be honest, I had a milkshake which from Shake Shack, which is great, but when you're lactose intolerant, not exactly a great idea, even with Lactaid. So I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I'm gonna try and do some quick Googling while I'm on the toilet and try and see if I can just get those lights working. I think that would be really cool. It might be like a good first thing to work on and get something that's actually accomplished. So with that in mind, I'll be back in like probably 5 minutes. I'm gonna put on some music. Thanks everyone for sticking around. This is kind of like a weird impromptu stream where I don't have the most planned, but I was so excited that I was like, we're effing streaming tonight. So that's where we are at. So I will be back momentarily. Thank you everyone for stopping by, and yeah, we'll be back in just a second. Alrighty, y'all. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Jesus Christ, I can't press buttons. Okay. Alright, music. You can stop now. So, we've returned. Turns out, eating dairy when you're lactose intolerant, not good, friends. Mostly worth it, but also kind of awful. So, I came up with this beautiful idea, and I want to try something, okay? So, I really want to get shift and pads working, okay? What I want to do with this is let me describe to you my plan. I think basically we can have different modes on the controller, I think fairly easily, okay? So I think we're going to use the fact that this thing has an LED system to our advantage. Okay. Map your farts to the keys. Oh my god. Oh my lord. Tie a different fart sample to each key. Oh my lord. It's not a bad call. It's not a bad call. So what I think we can do is basically what we can say in our, like, if I release the script, we're going to ignore that for now. But basically, so the Minilab allows you to have 8 different like setups. Basically, the plan is that I'm going to keep all of them the same. Okay, it's all going to be default. And with that in mind, what we're able to do is basically use this as a mode switcher inside FL. So our script will be able to keep track of the modes, I think, assuming we can get this to work. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to be able to detect is we need to figure out how we can identify the shift key. That's the first order of business here. So our is control event actually doesn't matter as much right now. It's still a useful function to have, so we'll keep it around, obviously. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and print the binary of that status again. So we're going to print the bin of its event.status, right? No semicolons, Reno. No semicolons. All right, so let's go ahead and reload our script. We're going to go ahead and press this key. Okay, so... actually, sorry. We need... what we actually need here is we need to print a string. So we want the status, data 1, and data 2. Okay, so this basically gives us, from what I understand, for the most part, like all of our information that we're going to be able to use. So then we're going to use our Python format string. So bin event status, and we need one more parenthesis at the end here. So event status, we want event.data1 and then event.data2. Cool. So I think this should work. So let's press a key. Okay, that worked. Great. So we have the binary value of our thing. We have the data 1 and the data 2. So in the notes case, data 1 is the note number. Data 2 is the velocity of the note. And of course, we get 2 events. One because it's a note on, and one because it's a note off. Cool. So we can go ahead and clear output here. So let's go ahead and input it with the shift. So the shift, we get 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. What does that mean? Let's go figure that out. So summary of MIDI messages. So that is all ones, and that is a system common messages. Okay. So system exclusive. This message type allows manufacturers to create their own messages, such as bulk dumps, patch parameters, and other non-spec data, and provides a mechanism for creating additional MIDI specification messages. The manufacturer's ID code is either 1 byte or 3 bytes. 2 of the 1 byte IDs are reserved for extensions called universal exclusive messages. Okay, so let's see what the actual code is itself. So it's 0, 0. That doesn't help me. So now let's see, our other buttons probably do very similar things. Yep. And then, yep. So this makes sense. So these 4 buttons basically are a cluster that is, that Arturia has programmed themselves to be special things, unique to the controller, which, it makes sense, I guess. The question is if we can do anything to try and determine what they are. So what are the other things we get available to us here? We get data 1, we get data 2. Let me look up to the top of this. We want on MIDI in. So we also get data 1, data 2. We get port, sysex, and PME flags. The most fart of his time is a great line. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and print that out as well. So we're gonna just basically print all this data, I think. Okay, so what do I need? So let's do port. So this is just gonna be a long string of crap, but I think that's fine for now. And then PME flags, which PME flags has a link. So let's see what that says. PME flags can do system stuff, can do critical system stuff, note triggers, preview notes, / control stuff, when the app is hosted, and coming from MIDI event. Okay. So let's go ahead and add those on here. So event dot. Is there object destructuring in Python? Because that would make this really easy. I don't think there is. It's not a destructor. Matt, I don't know if you're still around. I'm going to ask you this because you know Python better than I do. So in JavaScript, you can do, it's a shorthand syntax. Here, let me just show an example. So, hello? Sorry, Vim has overwritten all my stuff. So if I have an object, which is the same as a dictionary in Python, so if I have a thing and it's got a key, test has some value, and then it has test2, which has a number. So again, JavaScript objects are like almost exactly Python dictionaries. They're very, very similar. What I can do is if I want to access, I shouldn't name the variable test. We should name this foo. So normally, right, I could, down here, do something like foo.test or foo.test2. Which is fine. However, it's like a syntactical sugar thing. If I want to access a bunch of those things, what I can do is say this. I can create new variables called test, test2 equals foo. And so this will allow me, so if I like do test, it'll print value. Does that make sense? Yo, Chris, CM Griffin, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, friends. Holy shit. Sorry, I was not prepared. Welcome. We are doing sort of a odd little, or my name's Reno, I guess. I do mostly Twitch or live coding here on Twitch. Today we're doing sort of a weird little thing. I just got a MIDI keyboard here, and FL Studio I just found out is adding Python scripting for MIDI controllers. So we are taking this opportunity to basically mess around with that. There wasn't like a default profile for this keyboard, so we're trying to, I don't know, do some cool stuff with it. It's all very abstract right now, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but And I'm refreshing myself on Python also because I don't use it very often. So, what's going on, Snake Eater and Baldcod? How's it going, guys? Test 1, test 2. Foo.values. Oh, because that creates a list of the values, doesn't it? That might work. So, like, we don't have to do that. It just would be, like, a nice syntactical sugar thing that would be nice. So if I do... What I basically want it for is here, if I did event.values. Let me see if that works. Oh, that worked. Here, let me go ahead and print data 1 and data 2. Oh, gotta keep using semicolons. Okay. Okay, so let's try that. Has no attribute values. What is that? FL MIDI message object? Oh. Okay, never mind. We're just not going to do this. This is saving me time, but it's not worth it. Excuse me. So, I guess just to quickly describe the first part of what we're doing. So, my MIDI keyboard has some things like built in that it does. So the first is that it basically allows you to have 8 different layouts. So there's like a shift button up here. And if you hold shift and press the pads, it allows you to switch between the 8 different layouts. Now, I don't really have a use for this per se. So what I'm trying to do is see if I can't make it, basically use this to switch between 8 different modes inside of FL Studio, which will be more useful because I can program all of them and it'll be cooler. So, yeah, it's not a dict. I guess it's an object. So whatever, it's fine. Or it's like some sort of class. Like I don't really need to, that's not really a big deal. Okay, so we're printing all this. So is it just sysex? Oh, sorry, port is the first one. So event.port, event.sysex ex, is that right? Sysex MIDI sysex data. I don't know what that is, but let's find out. And then event.pme flags, which is PME flags is down at the bottom. Okay, so that should be everything. So let's go ahead and reload our scripts. And then let's go ahead and see. Uh-oh. FL MIDI message has no attribute PME flags. But it says you should. Okay, that's weird. Well, then we'll just ignore PME flags for now, although I don't know why it would tell me that. Maybe that's like only for like certain types of MIDI things. I don't know how that works. Okay, so let's go ahead and, I guess I should close out of Steam. Let's hope that everything else works. And it is okay. All right, great. So if we press a key, sysex is none. Okay, port is 0. So if we press this, ooh, there we go. That's a binary string. Is that what? That's in hex, right? I believe. Neat. So, what is sysex? Let's go see what that means. So MIDI sysex. Oh god. System exclusive. It allows synth manufacturers to define their own specific message formats. Unlike every other message format in the MIDI standard, sysex messages can be variable in length. They are marked by both a start byte, the F0 hex, and an end byte, the F7 hex. The byte after the start byte is required to be a number that identifies the manufacturer. The MIDI standard defines a specific number for each manufacturer. Oh, they told us about this. So this is describing this, I believe. Or, sorry, not that. The system common messages. Yeah. So they were describing that to us. Great. So if the... so basically, I can actually ignore what it's saying, but the fact that it has a sysex array makes it different from everything else. So like if we start pressing keys, there's no sysex. The pads have no sysex. Let me clear my output just to be sane. These don't have any sysex. So it's only probably, I would assume, these 4... Oh, God. Yeah, these don't have anything. These 4 buttons are probably the only ones that have it. Yep, so that changes my octaves. This changes the pads. Oh, well, fuck yeah. That, I think, really helps, actually. So basically, if it has a sysex, that means it's part of, at least in this case, it means it's part of this button cluster. So, and then based on what the sysex is, I should be able to tell what button it is, right? Because, okay, so let's do, this is octave, here, let me clear. So this is octave down. I need to convert these because I don't know what they are, but this is X11. Yep, they're slightly different. Fuck yes. Okay, and then these two together actually is a reset, which it looks like it's still the same. It's just recognizing if they're both pressed. Awesome. That's actually amazing. That means I can totally do this. Super, super cool. So, oh god. Cool, so let's go ahead and get those deciphered. So I need to convert the... actually, let's look at and see what the hex is. Let me do it for the shift first, because I care the most about that right now. I don't know what the K is, though, right? Like... can I convert those to an int? Would that help? You can convert hexadecimal by just wrapping an integer? Okay, let's do that. Now, I wonder if that's going to error out when it's a none. How does that work? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and reload our script. Great, everything worked fine. Shift. Invalid literal for int with base 10. Can I make it a binary? Or is it... What is the type of sys? See, this is where I wish I knew better Python. It's a bytes class? Python bytes. Oh, it's a hex string. Wait, what is the bytes type? Is that what that is? From bytes. I don't care about any of that. Wait, hold on. String, bytes, and bytes array. So bytes is largely the same for that as string literals, except for a B prefix is added. Oh, okay. So, while bytes, literals, and representations based on ASCII text, bytes objects also behave like immutable sequences of integers. Oh, okay, there's a bytes from hex. So that returns a bytes objects decoding a given hex string. Return a string object containing 2 hexadecimal... Oh, great. Okay, so I just use this, and it'll give it to us in hex. So I do... Is that the correct amount of parentheses? Yeah, okay. So event.sysex dot hex, right? Great. So now that should just give us a string, and then if you want to make the hex string easier to read, you can specify a single character separator sep parameter to include in the output by default between each byte. A second optional bytes per sep parameter controls the spacing. So I can basically give it a space then. Yeah, let's do that. That will make it easier to read. Cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and reload our script now. Let's press that again. Hex takes no arguments, one given. Wait, what? I guess I should be careful about the fact that there might be some slight type or version differences. So it does say in the interpreter here it's using 3.6.3. So let's look at byte. Returns to... Oh, wait. Okay, so... Wow, did bytes, like, change drastically? Oh, this is a memory view. Okay, class bytes, hex. Oh, yeah, they literally added hex in 3.5. Wow, okay, so this has changed quite a bit then, it looks like. Okay, so I guess that's fine, right? We can still just display it. That's kind of wild, though. That's a good note to know, though. So now we're on 3.6, so I'm looking at the right documentation at least. So hex doesn't take a argument. That's kind of a bummer. All right, so this is our hex code. So let's go ahead and make a new file and paste this baby in here and see what's going on. Did I copy this correctly? Okay, there we go. Is it separated in pairs of 2? Is that accurate? Or is that the easiest? I don't remember how hex works well enough. Well, it seems to work. Oh, I don't want to save this. I just want to view things. Anytime with work with bytes starts, yeah. See, I don't do this at all. My JavaScript web dev world does not prepare me for working with hex, even though I learned it in school. So I'm glad I like have a rudimentary knowledge, but I'm not like, you know, comfortable enough with it to like do things quickly in hex, right? So we can compare this to the documentation that we have here. So, where is that? That's here. So the manufacturer's ID code is either 1 byte or 3 bytes. Oh, here, I guess this article I think is probably the most probably helpful. A sysex message with the manufacturer ID of hex 7F is referred to as a universal real-time message. So 7F does exist here twice. Okay, so the manufacturer's ID code is either 1 byte or is 3 bytes. 2 of the 1 byte IDs are reserved for extensions called universal exclusive messages, which are not manufacturer specifics. If a device recognizes the ID code as its own, it will listen to the rest of the message. Otherwise, the message will be ignored. Okay, so I actually don't care so much about what the message says, to be honest. I just need to know what it is. So we can actually store these as constants and just like work with them. And I think that should be fine because it looks like they're just the same the entire time. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can go ahead and throw these as variables up here. So this is, I'm going to put Minilab, Mark II, shift, and what's it called? It's called a sysex. And we'll put it as a string. Great. And then let's go ahead and we're going to make these real quick for all of our different codes. Oh, whoops. Well, I can't fit them today. Cool. And then oof. Okay, and then this should be we have shift, we have pad switch, is what I'm gonna call it. Which is, pad switch is this one, so if you press it, these pads change. We have we have octave down. Wow, this is kind of cool. I feel like this was not the intention, but I'm glad that I feel like I can just like ignore everything my MIDI controller is doing and like literally just have it do whatever I want, which I think is very powerful. Oh god, what did I do? So we need to delete these, and this should be oct up. Okay, so now that we're pressing these, let's go ahead and clear this script. So the pad switch has this hex value. Oh, okay, and it's actually worth noting this is a so they actually each have 2. So one is going to be pressing the button, and the other one's going to be releasing the button. So we need to keep track of those. Actually, I'm going to change how I'm naming these. So pad switch down, sysex, and then so this should be shift. I'm gonna do shift release. I can't spell release. Oh my god, I really can't spell release. And then, so I'm going to use down and release to designate those both. So then oct down. Yo, what's going on, John? We actually just made kind of a cool discovery. We are basically making it to where my keyboard does some things automatically when I press these 4 buttons up here. And I've actually just figured out how to determine which of those buttons is getting pressed so that I can basically ignore them and do whatever the fuck I want with them, which is kind of cool. So that's yeah, that's what we're doing right now, which is kind of, I kind of feel like a hacker right now. This is the closest I've ever felt to a hacker, I think. I know it's not really what a hacker is, but let me have my moment. It's just a big plastic box around an Arduino with buttons. That's, yeah, basically true. What's going on, Trey? And what's going on, Jaxie? Okay, so yeah, it's not actually hacking though, right? Because this is like literally just MIDI, so like it actually doesn't matter, and I'm like not doing anything notable, you know. But it feels cool. It feels cool. Okay, so this should be octave down. Oh, I put done here. That's not what I want. This should be down. So this one's gonna look a little weird because it's gonna be octave down, down, but that's fine. And then this should be down, and then, oh god. So yank this, paste it, and then this should be, oh, and Chris, I forgot to ask, how was your stream, dude? What were you working on today? I apologize, I'm brain farting big time. I could probably stand to abbreviate release, honestly, instead of writing the whole thing, but that's fine. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have shift down, shift release, pad switch down. This should be pad switch release. Then octave down, down, octave down, release, octave up, down, octave down, release. Great. Okay, so now we just need to copy these over. So let's go ahead and do shift first. So let's clear our output here. So shift. So this is, so it should be down and then up. So let me make sure I did that one right. Yeah, it's the 7F one. And then, oh, it's literally just that byte changes from, it changes from 7F to 00. Is that the case for all of them? Yeah, it looks like it actually. So it looks like the command is actually based on this bit here, the 2E. And then whether or not it's release is 7F, that's 00. Okay, so that's actually pretty nice. That just means I can copy over this part of the thing and just makes life a little easier here. Okay, so instead of 7F, this should be 00. And then instead of 2E, this is actually, so this is the pad switch one is 2F. So this should be F. And this should be 00. Nice. Okay, and then octave down is 10 instead of 2F. And then 7. Oh god. Okay, I'm skipping ahead here. So here it should be 10, right? Yep, 10, 7F, and then this one should be 10, and then this should be 00. You could stop at the point you've arrived at and turn this controller into a gosh dang steering wheel if you wanted. Yes, but with more work, right? Because you have to remember that, like, receiving the MIDI messages and all of this is all being done via FL Studio, and I'm just piggybacking its libraries. So I would have to, like, I'm sure there are Python MIDI libraries, I have no doubt in my mind. So if I really wanted to, I could still fuck around and do this. I feel like I could apply this outside of FL, which is cool. So okay, and then the last one is octave up, which they have as 1, 1. So this should be 1, 1, 7F, and then 1, 1, 0, 0. Cool. So I actually can go ahead and great. So we have all those defined now. So these are the sysex messages for the for button cluster on the top left of the controller. Great, so now that we know that's the case, so basically if event.sysex, actually we can just filter on here. So because the other one is none, we should just be able to handle anything we want here. So this means it's a part of the button cluster. To be honest, I might actually want to do, there might be some better ways to handle this. So the reason I say that is because, like, for example, I want to be able to tell what button it is and what whether it's getting pressed or released easier, I think, than like checking the constants, right? So I may have all just done that constant work for nothing, to be honest. So probably an easier way of doing it. So if I look, I can actually just slice this. I just need to figure out what index it is. So this is 0, 1, or wait, what is the length of these, right? Let me just figure that out. I can test this in the interpreter, actually. So foo is equal to this string. So foo is that. Great. So foo.len, or no, that's not correct. It's what, len of foo is 24. So the bits I really care about is the last two. No, sorry, I don't care about the last two. I care about this group of 4 is actually all I care about here. So this is, I can use negative indices, right? But I don't remember how to do those. So that's, this would be what? Because this is -1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I need, how does that work? Okay, so that gets me all of that. So then -6, no, that doesn't help me. -6 to -4 is what I want. So that'll give me, okay, yeah, actually that's probably just what I want. So if the event is sysex, this means it's part of the button cluster. So we can get the button ID basically. That's what I'm going to call it. Is the button ID is going to be the event.sysex from -6 to -4. Yeah, okay. And then the I guess button state is going to be event.sysex from should be what? I think just -4, -2. Is that correct? Yeah, that's 7F. Great. First Grand Champ in Rocket League using a MIDI. Oh my lord. Also, what's going on, Jordan? This is kind of like decoding serial communications now. Like what you would do if you're trying to decipher which pins on a 13/15, whatever pin is the read-write pin of the board. Yes, I think so. I think that's accurate. But I don't know because I haven't had a lot of experience doing that sort of like sort of low-level physical stuff. So you might be right. I'm just not sure, to be honest. But yeah. Yeah, so I actually wrote all these basically for nothing. So the buttons, so we are going to need some of those. So I'll write new ones in a second. So let me write the logic first so I make sure I'm not writing unnecessary things. So the event sysex is going to be -4, -2. So so the button state only has 2 options. So we can basically make a function that handles button events here. Oh, see, this is where things are going to get kind of interesting, and I might actually want to make a class. The sample script that it gave me had a class, and I was like, that seems kind of odd, and I don't know why I'd want one. It seemed like overkill at the time, but now I think I want one. And so what we're going to do is actually make a class. So we're just going to call it controller. And the reason why I want this is because, the constructor actually doesn't need to take anything in advance, but what we care about is, I don't know, do I have to define class variables outside of the class definition? Or can I just like put them in the constructor, or sorry, outside of the constructor, or can I just put them in the constructor? Table of contents. Where are class? Class decorators I don't care about. Abstract base classes. You can put them in the constructor. Okay, great. All right, I'll just do that then. So things I'm interested in here is basically I need to track basically whether or not buttons are being pressed. So like what we're going to be doing for this like mode switching I'm going to try and implement is we're going to be holding shift and pressing pad buttons. Okay. Now pressing the pad buttons is going to be interesting and that might be kind of hard to do, but we basically need to track whether or not we're holding shift down. And you can imagine that like this being pressed is also like, so this is like a toggle button, right? So I guess we don't have to make this a toggle. Although it does change what the pads are, so like maybe we don't fuck with that. So I'll be completely honest with you. I think the shift one actually might be like the only button we actually care about out of these four, because like, so switching pads, I actually want to do. There's like legitimate reason for this, as you can hear. So the only problem is that the read layer has some issues, so maybe we just won't use that, to be honest. Anyways, all that is to say is that I think we don't care about anything besides the shift. So we're going to say basically, we're just going to have this as a, I know this seems really shitty. We're going to have this as a Boolean, okay? And so what we're going to do here is we're going to have a handle button. Well, no, all we can do is basically just do set shift and then val. It should be self val. Oh, I put a who's there. Are you guys just typing semicolons? Now I understand. Thank you. I saw you like put that before, and I was like, what are they doing? And now it all makes sense. Okay. I'm getting bullied. I'm getting bullied in my own chat for a language I don't use that often. Please. Okay, so we just use self.shift is equal to val. Oh, that's a semicolon. I caught myself there. So what we can do here basically is that if button ID is equal to if button ID is equal to what is shift? Shift's button ID is 2E, and that should just be a string. Then this is a shift button, and then basically if so new shift val is going to be equal to button state. Are there ternaries in Python? Button state equal to it's just 7f, right? Yeah, 7f is going to be true. Otherwise, it's going to be false. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I put them in the wrong place. Wait, are there no ternaries? X if A else B. Wait, what? Oh, now I'm confused. Should it be, oh, so it should be true if, oh, so not really. When equals return true false anyways? Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, I'm dumb. Thank you, Jack. God damn it. Okay. So it should just be button state. Button state is equals to 7f. So if it is equal to 7f, then it's true, which makes sense. So that means we're holding it, and we want to set shift equal to true. And then what are the words I'm trying to say here, then if it releases, we're going to set it to false. That makes sense. And then we should call, so we need a new controller whenever the script initializes. So so here we want to call controller dot, why is there no autocomplete? Oh, I put 3 L's. I was like, why is there no autocomplete here, please? Controller set shift. Our new value is new shift val. Great. So what we're going to do now is that on our MIDI message, we're going to go ahead and print shifting is going to be equal to, we're just going to display that. So this should be dot format, and that should be controller dot shift. Great, so let's go ahead and reload our script. Hopefully everything worked. None type has no attribute hex. Oh, so that does actually error. That makes sense. So that's fine because it's just the printing. Oh, and I also need, that means I need to actually do, I'm actually doing this incorrectly. So if event.sysex, then sysex needs to be event.sysex.hex. And then this should be, oh, that's not what I wanted. That error actually saved me because this wouldn't have worked anyways. There's no option types in Python, unfortunately. Oh, that's a real bummer. Okay, so that should work here then. Great, so let's go into the key. Great, shifting is false, that's as we expect here. So if we press the button, we're shifting, great, and then we let go, shifting, false. Okay, so that's like a pretty simple thing, but that's working. So now as we're shifting, we press another button, we're still shifting. Great, this is exactly what we wanted. Oh, and I don't know if other folks are seeing this, there is a sysex whenever we do shift pads. As they say in Twitchland, I think that's a poggers, I think is what we go by. Fantastic, actually. That's really exciting. So let's go ahead and delete that shifting print line just to make our output a little clearer, and let's dive into what that gives us. Wow, this is really exciting, I'll be honest with y'all. Okay, so that's our shift button. Let's go ahead and press our pad 1, pad 2, pad 3. Oh god, that pressed twice. God dang it, I'm trying to get clear output here. Shift, pad 1. Oh, it did it twice, please. Okay, great. So that's all of our pads here. So this looks pretty simple. So it's a similar thing. So the code is 1B. So that looks like shift pad. So I'm going to make a note of these somewhere. These are, what am I calling these? I'm calling these the button ID. So button IDs, I'll probably codify these into, oh, I can actually just codify them into constants right now. So shift is going to be equal to, we'll do ID underscore shift. ID underscore shift is 2E. ID underscore pad switch is 2F. Then we have octave down is going to be 1-0. And then ID octave up is going to be 1-1. And then we have ID shift pad 1 is equal to Oh, sorry. Shift pad is all 1B, and then they have values. So shift pad is 1B. Yeah, and then they're the value of that, which is I say button state here. I think actually what we actually want to say is probably button value is probably more appropriate, seeing how this is going to be used for those as well. Cool. So let's go ahead and change that. So hopefully they all have unique values, but it's fine because we can just use the combination anyways. So great. So we can completely identify which button is being shift pressed. So I want to see if there's anything else that matters here. So when we press this pad, I don't think this yes, there's no sysex here, okay, which is kind of to be expected. I'm trying to find if there's any other ones basically. So the only other thing that might matter is the other blue print on here, which is probably hard for you guys to see, is that there's some above the keyboards, which supposedly changes. They're labeled as here. It says keyboard MIDI channel. So we're going to hold shift and try that. So if we press, so she's not doing anything. That seemingly is not doing anything. Now, we're not printing the MIDI channel, but does that change that, actually? Do I have access to the channel? So before the sysex, I can print event. I think we have access to the channel. Where is that? MIDI chan. MIDI chan. So if we reload the script, our channel 0. Let's set this like 6. This should do 6. Okay, that seemingly is not doing anything, so I'm not going to worry about that. And maybe that's because that's getting controlled. We're saying port is 0 here. So I change port to 1. Also, this still says port 0 over here, so I don't really know what's going on there. Anyways, that doesn't really matter. So I think that's fine. So if that's the case, actually, so we'll keep the shift value here for ourselves. But that's actually really helpful, right? So we don't even need to necessarily track the shift, right? Because if we have a sysex here, that's just another thing we can handle. So if button ID is equal to 2E, and we can actually change this for the constant. So button ID is equal to ID underscore, and that's shift. So that makes it a little readable. And then we can go ahead and do button values. So you can have val press is equal to 7F. We'll do press. I think that makes more sense than down. And then val release. I'll just shorten that into RL. Should be 0, 0. So this makes hopefully our code a little bit more readable. So if the button value is equal to val press, this is what that should be. Oh, okay, my throat is dying. Actually, give me just a second. I'm going to go run to my kitchen and get some water. I'll be back in like just a minute. All right, I'm back. My throat is not used to talking this much, so. It's crazy what working from home does to you because you just don't talk all day, so. All right, so. Great, so now we're able to detect our modes. So let's go ahead and just set up a mode variable. So our mode by default, I don't know if we don't really have a good way to determine what mode it is by default, right? So maybe we should just default it to 1, and then it can go from there, question mark? I don't know what exactly to do there. So self.mode. So the plaintext right now is just going to have these be equal to a number. I'm not going to 0 index these because I'm a monster. Actually, I probably should 0 index them, to be honest. Okay, so mode's going to be 0 by default. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to, we need to set these values real quick. Excuse me. So, if we reload our script, what do these give us again? Okay, so it's just 0 through 7. So actually what we can do is basically we're going to make a function in here that switch mode is basically going to be the function here. So self, and then it's going to be mode value, I guess. We'll use the raw value for now. So excuse me, what we actually need to do is going to take the we need to take the second number here, or the second part of the string, convert that to an int, and then I think that works. So what we can give switch mode here is that so we basically want to say self dot mode is going to be equal to mode val at position 1, and then we want to convert that to an int. So I think we can just run int and that should work. I don't know if you can do that. Let's find out. So then if we if button ID is shift, great, and then if controller dot shift and button ID is equal to ID is it shift pad? Is that what I named it? Oh, I did not put that value in. So shift pad should be shift pad is 1B. So again, this is sort of an unnecessary thing because the it's always going to be that, but you know it makes our stuff look nicer for now. So if we're shifted and if the button ID is equal to the shift pad, then we're going to go ahead and call controller.switch mode on mode val, which is going to be button value. Great. So now we just want to be able to display the mode, I guess, whenever this gets run, I guess. So the mode. Oh god, that's not what I wanted at all. Actually, I don't want that open. That open interpreter. Weird. So format, and then we're going to go ahead and throw in controller.mode. Cool. So let's go ahead and see if that works. That's pretty simple, so I think it should. So it should default to 0. Great. So now if I shift, press this, mode should still be 0. Great. Mode is 1. Mode is 2. Fuck yeah, that's really exciting. Okay. Great. Okay, yeah, so now we have 8 custom modes. So now we can do whatever we want with those modes. I don't know what to do first. So now, so this is sort of like a frameworky thing in terms of like we can now make the controller do like a bunch of things. So let's, I guess, sort of determine what we want our modes to be. That's probably the good thing to do here. So controller modes. So let's start with mode 0 is going to be, we probably want to start with something simple. So mode 0 should probably be, I guess the knobs can control, we can default these to channel and mix, or probably like mixer volumes, right? So the plan is mostly for the modes to be able to change everything up here. Like I said, the keys are going to stay the same, right? Like you want keys in almost all cases, I think. So I'm not going to mess with those. So mode 0, let's say does, let's just say it does mixer controls. So maybe we'll change that around, but I think that should be fine. So we now need a way to go ahead and go through all of our knobs and assign them to do things inside of FL Studio. So we need to get a way to identify all of our knobs. And let's work on that. So I think, so we'll start on, this is mode 0, right? So mode 0 is always going to be the default layer. I don't think anything should have changed here. So with our knobs, let's go ahead and see what we have. So it has... So the benefit here, right, is that we can figure out whether or not they're a control. And then based on that, we know... So data 2 is always going to be the value, right? So... it's giving us two different... Let's actually comment out the mode thing just so we have a cleaner output here. I actually don't know... 647. Interesting. So this is actually showing... Okay, so this knob is actually behaving kind of weirdly. I don't know if anyone else is seeing that. So what I'm going to do for now, probably... So we're going to ignore these two knobs with the buttons on them. We probably want them to handle them differently anyways, just because they have the buttons, so they're more useful. So let's go ahead and work with the 14 knobs over here otherwise. So that gives us access to volume controls for the first 14 mixer tracks, which like is a useful thing anyways. So let's go ahead and clear our output and try and figure out what these knobs are. So this is, I'm going to make a list of like the knob note names essentially. Top row knobs, I guess. It's not a great way to refer to them, but so what did I say what this one was? So let me see if I can't get like good output here. Of course, they're like not sensical numbers. Okay, so it's 74. And do those come to us as strings or ints, I wonder? That's the other thing I actually care about here. Let me take a screenshot of this real quick, though. Let me send that to myself on. I don't have like a... Sorry, I wanted to paste this. Then have a Discord server to put it in. Okay, cool. I'll put that picture real quick. Okay, cool. And then let's do the bottom row ones. So let me clear and then... I'm just basically taking notes for myself here, so I have these available. Is that all of them? Cool, and we'll take a screenshot of that. Great. Bottom row. Okay, super cool. So let's go ahead and get those. Oh, the other thing I was going to figure out is whether or not they are stored as numbers or as strings. So I can put them in the, excuse me, in the list appropriately. So type of event dot, I think it should be data 1, right? They are integers. Okay, that's good to know. So, and because it's bothering me so much, I'm actually just gonna put music on. Let me turn that down. I seriously can't tell you how much it's throwing me off that I like don't have music on in the background. I always code with music on in the background, at least on stream. So, and some of this is gonna be like not very interactive in terms of like we're not playing all any music right now. So, okay, so. Top row knobs is, or we can actually just make this a 2-dimensional array. So knob IDs basically is what this is. Okay, so I have this on my left monitor so I can read or just work through these. So 74, so the first array is going to be, this is the top row and this is the bottom row. So 74, 71, 76, 77, 93. I have no clue why they're not in order. 73 and 75. Now, obviously it'd be nice to put them in order. So click knobs are going to be separate. This is kind of confusing, but I think it should be fine. 18, 19, 16, 17, 91, 79, and 72. So, like I said, it would be nice if I could standardize these. The problem is that this first layer is read-only. And ideally, what I would love to do is that basically if I'm able to distribute this, I think the ideal thing would be is basically I can say, you know, the only requirement really is that you have your keyboard in basically all default layers. So all the layers are the same, they're all default, which is really easy to do with the MIDI controller. Or the MIDI manager or whatever the program's called. Otherwise, if that wasn't the case, then I'd do like some serious reorganizing on the non-read-only layers because this shit bothers me. But in theory, they should all be this. Okay, so there's the knob IDs. So then we want to go through... so when we init... so we're going to want to basically... We're going to have a function that does init modes. So this just takes the self, and then basically we do a switch. Does Python has switch cases, right? Maybe they don't. Oh, there are no switches actually. Okay, well, I can just do. Great, alternative 1. Okay, so we'll just do an if-else then. Several main schools of thought. Yeah, so it's really just doing an if-else, I guess. Although, can I put functions inside of a dictionary? Well, that's not what I want to do, though. Okay, I'll just do an if-else. So basically, if self.mode is equal to 0, then we're going to go ahead and do... basically what this is going to do is this is going to do any init steps for this mode. So anything that needs to change on a mode, you're going to do inside of this function. So to do add more modes as needed. So any init steps for this mode. So mode 0 is going to we're going to have well, I guess first things. So okay, there's a few things we need here. So the first is basically we need to have a knowledge of what each knob does. So if we link a knob in FL, we need to like be able to store what that knob is doing. Right, so we need to have some sort of information as to what that knob's doing. I guess maybe that's like a better thing to do after we've actually assigned the knobs. So let's just try assigning the knobs. So well, okay, yeah, because I'm trying to think about this. So basically, how this is going to work, I think. Maybe I should glance through this real quick. I think the basic thing is what's going to happen is that it's going to send a MIDI event, and we're going to intercept it, say, okay, if this is a control thing, we probably want to control it. And if it is a knob that we have a function for, then we should do that. So let's figure out how to control. First, we need to figure out how to control a mixer channel's volume with code. That's the first part of this. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, like architecting things out, which we will have to do, I think, but not yet. So mixers, great. So track number 0 is always the master. So we probably don't want to control the master. Well, what did I say? We have 14 knobs, so that could get us the master plus 13. 13 sends. That's pretty good. We can do that. So we can get the track info, the track number, set track number is the currently selected mixer track. Returns the number of tracks, get track name, set track name. So we basically want to change the volume. Set track volume, it takes an index and a float. Changes the volume of track at index. Volume is a value between 0 and 1.0. Okay, so let's work on that. So the first thing we need to note is what our range of values is. I believe we get that. So our max is 127 and our minimum is 0. This is where I'm bad at math. But how do I reduce that down to a value between 0 and 1? I need to do what? It's multiply by why am I failing so miserably at this? So this needs to equal 1. So 127 times x is equal to 1. So you're taking, what is 1 over 127? So this value is basically what is our ratio, right? So like in this case, 0 times, so I copy this. 0 times this value is 0, but 127 times this value is going to be equal to 1. Yep, okay. Never mind, we mathed it out correctly. You can tell I went to school for a, a math-related major. Oh yeah, which is the same as dividing that by 127, right? Oh my lord. This is where I feel so dumb. Okay. Yeah, because then 127 divided by 127 is 1. 0 divided by 127 is still going to be 0. And then anything in between will give you a fraction. Great. Okay, so with our events, so if event is a sysex, we are handling that correctly. So elif, what do we want to look for here? We want to look if is control event. Is control event, and that takes event.status. So if it's a control event, then we need to figure out what to do with it. So for now, let's just do it with our first knob, which is knob, or it's technically our second knob, but you know, it has to be 74. So if event dot data 1, right, is equal to 74. This is knob 2 on the board. Math always is hard, I'll be honest with you. I'm definitely and I always have been, to be fair. I'm very much a slow math person, and I've never been really good at doing math in my head. I've always had to like write it out and think about it, and like anytime I have to do anything math related at work, I'm very much like we have whiteboard walls at work, but like I very much am like a whiteboarder in general. I have to like figure things out that way. Okay, so knob 2 on the board. So if we get knob 2, then let's go and make sure this is working. This is knob 2. Let's go ahead and comment out our big print string for the moment. Where's FL? Great. Expected an indel. Oh, I should actually just return here, because I'm not doing anything. Have I semicoloned lately? Because I feel like I should have. Oh, I didn't. I just feel like I wasn't paying attention. So okay, so int object is not subscriptable. Oh, should I be giving it, oh, I should be giving it bin status, that's fine. I was doing that conversion earlier. Right, I think. Yay, knob 2. We did it. Alright, cool. Sort of as expected. That wasn't anything complicated, but that's one of those things where I'd ignore it, slightly mess something up, and then like spend like a very long time down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what was going on there. Cool. So awesome. So now we need to control the mixer. So that's with the mixer module. So I actually need to pause the music here because I actually have to do music things now. So do I have the mixer module imported? I do. So mixer dot set track volume, long index float volume. Set track volume. The index is, let's go ahead and just make it the master for now. And then the volume is going to be event.data2 divided by 127. I should probably make that a constant. Probably should not have magic numbers there, but I can do that later. So now if we go into FL, we reload our script. Everything seems fine. So let's go ahead and just paint in a basic pattern here. Oh, I have settings open. That's why it was yelling at me. Let's do... Oh, did the audio? Oh yeah, you can't hear that anymore. That should be voice meter virtual ACO, right? Oh, that's really loud. Sorry. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I accidentally did clap boom like you said, well, but... Okay, so we have a simple beat. It's doing its thing. Oh. Oh yeah, so let's look at the mixer. It's working. Yeah. I'll be honest, this is this felt like it's been a lot of work to set this up. But I've sort of made it a lot of work, so it's real. My controller does something. Fuck yeah, man. Alright, awesome. Great. This is really exciting. Are you dead mouse? I can be. Here, hold on. There is, This is gonna be a really dumb tangent. Demo projects, demo songs. There is definitely a dead mouse one. Why am I suddenly forgetting dead mouse's real name? Because I feel like it's under. Right, he's definitely done one. Maybe not. Maybe they got rid of it. He's definitely done one though. He has some. He actually has some. Oh, here you go. It's in Legacy. There you go. That's not true. Dream Electro Mix from 2004. Yeah, it is Joel. There you go. Joel Zimmerman. There you go. So. Yeah, and then it was redone in 2008. So. It's got the little dancing dude too. Sorry, that was really loud. It's actually pretty groovy, to be honest. It's like nothing crazy, but... And now look, I can control the fucking... Now there's nothing, because I turned the master off. Yeah, it's actually got some cool little sysex loops in here. I'm pretty sure this is sysex. That vocal, yeah. Yeah, it's got some cool sysex loops. Let's go. I don't know. Vocal chopping, very neat, very neat. Anyways, that was a way big tangent, but anyways, yeah. So you can. There is actually a Deadmau5 song in FL by default, which is kind of neat. And he's written I think he's got a citrus patch or two. I don't remember where. Is it this one? Oh wait, normally it shows you like the little they might change the layout of citrus. Yeah, can I make things large again? Code graphics. I don't actually know. It normally shows the pads. Oh, it's in main, dumb as hell. I don't know. I actually don't remember what it is. But anyways, he has a... I've definitely used it before, but I don't remember what the fuck it's called. He's made a patch. There's a citrus patch in here that's a Deadmau5 one. It's something cool, too, and I totally don't remember what it was. But it's like a... Oh, it's depth core. I'm nearly positive. Yeah, this is a Deadmau5 one. This one, it's actually pretty neat. Like a cool, it's got a cool wobble to it. It's actually like a really sick synth patch. I like wob's pretty good too, which is kind of neat. So, anyways. This is a distraction from the coding that I should be doing, but that's a really cool synth patch. I like that one a lot. Okay, great. So that's pretty simple, actually. So now we just need to basically, like I said, have a way to... we should have some sort of way to tell what... Well, okay, sorry. Let me step back for a second. Do we need a way to keep... Should we be keeping track of what knob is doing what? Is the first question, right? So, like... Because what we could just do on mode 0 is basically just say, okay, loop through all the knobs and just, you know, in the range of... in the range of the length of the array, right? And then just, like, assign it to mixer tracks. And, like, we could just do that. Like... Maybe we just do that, and maybe we add more, like, you know, a more frameworky thing around that. I think I have a tendency to, like, want to build large frameworks at first, but I just really don't think I need to. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and do... so in mode 0, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do... let's go ahead and just abstract this out into a function, though. That I don't mind doing. So def... set knobs to mixer volume. So it doesn't need to take any functions, so we're just going to go ahead and do combined knobs. All right, how do I merge two lists? That's what I need to do. Python merge lists. Not when certain items match. I just want to combine lists. I guess combine lists is probably what I want. Oh, concatenate two lists. Okay. You can use the plus operator, combine them. Oh. Neat. Okay, well. Yeah, sorry, I actually meant concatenate. I have, yeah, so this, yeah, this seems fine. Okay, so I don't know if keeping them in two arrays is like a good or a bad idea. Maybe I don't even need to do that. I don't know, probably keeping track of which is the top array and which is the top knob and which is the bottom knob is probably useful. So in this case, it doesn't matter. We don't care. So all we're going to do is go ahead and combine them. So we're going to say knob IDs. Oh, sorry, that should be self. dot knob IDs. At 0 is going to be, it's just 1 plus self knob IDs at 1. And then from there we can do for I in range from, oh, hello? Flux, I don't care. Also, I should disable flux. It probably is giving the stream a weird tint. So in range from 0 to when of combined knobs. Oh, that could be an extra paren. And then we need to just go ahead and do mixer dot set track volume of the mixer track. So we will start at the master. We'll just go ahead and do that. So the first one's gonna be the master, and then oh no, now I see the problem. What I was thinking basically is that when a mode loads, instead of checking for the mode, okay, here's my thought process on this. So basically, if each knob essentially has a function on it, a function attached to it, right? Then instead of like checking to see what mode we're on or whatever, all you would have to do is say, okay, this knob got turned, call the function that it does right now. And I think that makes a lot of sense, personally. It might be a little like over architecty, but I think like in terms of like switching modes, right? Because then you're just replacing the functions on the knobs. So I think that's what I want to do. So with that in mind, what we're going to need is some way to store that. So I think probably the easiest way is just to have a big dictionary with all of the knob IDs, and then yeah, I think you just have the knob IDs, and then we can just assign those to assign functions to those. So I'm gonna need to assign I won't know how to do this in Python. I know how to do this in JavaScript, but so basically during the init here, we'll need a self so like knob functions is equal to can I don't really need to pre-populate it, right? Like it can just be knob functions is equal to addict. And then whenever we initialize, so it's always going to get initialized to mode 0, to be honest. So like the initial call I'm going to make is like self.init mode at init mode 0, which seems really dumb and counterintuitive, or sorry, it's going to be at self.mode. But like in case we're going to find if there's a way we can like store what mode we're in or something, then like maybe we can do something cool with that. Okay, I can put on music while I'm doing this, to be honest. So we're going to call init mode, and when we call init mode, we're going to go ahead and, sorry, let me work on this function. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do, so I basically need to make a, is it a partial function? So I don't actually know how to do this. So in JavaScript, what I would do here is, it'd just be a lambda, right? Or not a lambda, but an anonymous function. So, okay, in JavaScript, basically what I'd be doing is like const knob functions is equal to an object, and then let's say at like knob71, we'd have a function, and this would call mixer dot set track volume, and then it would be mixer 0. Like this is just an anonymous function, right? And Python definitely has those. Because I remember that was the first time I've ever used them was in Python. Which are, okay, yeah, they're called lambdas, okay. So for okay, so do lambdas have to have wait, is it really, sorry, go crazy here. So lambdas don't have to take parameters, right? Like I can just do, oh, I did not mean to make that as big as it is. So I think all that I have to do is, wait, what did that do? The Windows key tab, see more days in timeline. What? No, I don't want to do this. What is this though? Earlier today, visual. Oh, what? Shows like a timeline of things I did? Wow, that's kind of neat actually. Huh. Right, just leave out the parameter. Okay, yeah. I think I know what I'm doing here. So I'm doing, so for each range, we're gonna set self.knob functions is gonna be knob functions at so let's do knob ID, just so it's a little easier to read. Knob ID is going to be equal to combined knobs at I, and then knob functions at knob ID is going to be equal to, you're going to set lambda mixer set track volume at, this should be at I, and then it should be at whatever. Oh, actually, we do need a passive value, so we do need a parameter anyways. So lambda value mixer set track volume. Great. So I think that's correct. Cool. So in theory, we can actually print out on MIDI in, so we can actually just go ahead and print controller.knob functions. Let's say at is 71, I think, one of them. That's the second one. So we reload our script. A knit mode takes one positional argument, but two are given. Oh, whoops. Oh, I don't need to pass it the mode because it knows the mode. That's why. Oh, self with an E. One of my favorite things, when I learned Python, it was in a class in college that was taught by one of our grad students. And one of my favorite things I know about Python, and it's so dumb, is that the keyword self in classes can actually be anything. It doesn't have to be self. So like the running joke in the class basically was that like instead of doing definite self, you could just do instead, which would be perfectly valid but horribly confusing, is definite slef, which I love dearly. And I've considered, like, if I wasn't distributing this to other people, perhaps, because, like, you know, this will be nice for other people to have, I definitely would make it slef just to troll. I think slef is more fun to say, but it's horrific code, and you should never do that ever in any code that anyone ever might touch, because it's just absolutely horrible. That's like my favorite Python thing, for no good reason. I love it so much. What's going on, Duncan? We are all one. You mean one slef? But I agree overall. Okay, so see, you misspelled trying to misspell it. That's how evil it would be. Okay, so oh, so we're deleting this because it doesn't need the mode because it already has it. This is just getting it from the class. Wait, did it not print? Oh, I still have to press a make key for that to happen. Okay. Key error 71. Great. Oh, because we're not doing this. Okay, that's why. So if self.mode is equal to 0, then we need to do set knobs to mixer vol. We're not actually calling the function. Oh, also, I just realized my functions are misnamed. Are functions also supposed to be snake cased? Oh god, I hate that. I hate that so much. But I hate it. I mean, it's like, you know, it's fine. I just am not used to it. It doesn't actually. It's one of those things that doesn't actually matter. I just have been forgetting to do it. Oh, camel case is fine for functions? Alright, I'm gonna roll with it then. If that's the camel case I can get away with, I'm doing it. So I just need to change init mode to do this, which I should use F2 for. Refactoring library rope is not installed. God damn it. My Python for VS Code isn't working correctly because I don't really use Python that often, so like I haven't bothered to mess with it. So I'll just manually refactor it. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so everything else is camel case now. So now set knobs to mixer vol. That's semicolon. That should get called. Okay, I can close out of something. Oh no. I think I might have closed out of something that I care about. But I don't know what it was. It's fine, I guess. Okay, so now we can reload our script. Fuck yeah, so now we have a lambda. So now to call that lambda, we should be able to... So if it's a control event, then basically we're going to want to... we need to make sure the key exists. Can I use the in operator? So foo is equal to a dict, and we have like 72 is test. Wait, what? Oh, I just come out of space. So foo at 72. Oh god. Key error. Okay, it is in. Okay, cool. What's up, guy? I'm starting my death with everything that's going on, but I'm happy to be participating. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'll be honest with you. I know Python, right? But everything else is like kind of a mystery. So like, shit's kind of weird. But what we're able to do now is that, you know, the keyboard basically only allows you to have, you know, you can reassign these knobs to do things. What we're essentially able to do here with the system we've set up is now my keyboard basically now has 8 different modes that I can program the knobs and potentially the pads to do whatever the hell I want. So this is pretty cool because I basically have unlimited possibilities, and now instead of having, you know, one set of 15 knobs, I now have, or sorry, not 15 knobs, 16 knobs. I can't count. Instead of having one set of 16 knobs, I now essentially have 8 sets of 16 knobs that I can program to whatever, which is pretty neat, I think. So what we're doing right now specifically is our first mode, which is just going to be like this mode 0. Is going to be able to, it's going to automatically set up the knobs to where it controls the volume of the first 14 mixer tracks. So there's 16 knobs. 2 of them have like little clicky button things, and also they work slightly differently, so I'm just not messing with them right now. But the other 14, which are kind of the normal ones, these are going to be assigned to, well, okay, sorry, I spoke incorrectly. It's going to be the master track plus the first, well, I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if I should do the master. Anyways, it's going to be basically 14 mixer tracks. That's what we're doing. It's really trivial to change it whether or not it's the master or not, so. So if we care about data 1 here, so if event.data1, which is our key name, which in this case it's our basically our knob name. So if event.data1 is inside our controllers controller, and this should be knob functions. So if that key exists, then we're going to go ahead and call controller.knobfunctions at event.data1. And now we do have to pass it a parameter, right? So we have to pass it the value, which is going to be event.data2. So I think this works. I don't know. There are some Python questions here. Matt is saying yes to my earlier thing, so I'm gonna hope this works. So we're gonna try it out. Great. So am I still printing things? I don't need to be printing things. Great. So let's go ahead and reload our script. I think this should work. So let's go ahead and pause our music, and then what we're gonna do is we have. Oh, I got rid of our test thing, so let's go ahead and throw 4 kick drums in there, and then some claps. Okay, so now, oh god, that's gonna be really loud. I apologize. Let's turn that down first off. Sorry, it resets the volume every time I open a new project. So, okay, so this one should be controlling the master. So let's go ahead and take a look at our mixer as we're doing this. Seemingly not doing anything. Okay, nothing's happening. So let's figure out why that is. So it should be getting initialized correctly. So it is event.data1, right? I believe. So let's just do an else. So else, and then let's print that. So didn't. Oh god, it's a single quote source. Didn't find that knob ID. So let's go ahead and reload our script. And then just to be clear, we're setting to mode 0, and then wow, it is doing absolutely nothing. What is going on here? So is it a control event, right? Well, I guess the other thing is, so it's definitely a control event, right? Like, that's working, so found the funk. The funk. All right, let's reload our scripts. Yeah, okay, so it's finding the function. So what is the function? Like, what's going on here? So we can also, we could do some outputting here. So print value. We're just doing our good old logging as many places as we can to test here. So our lambda at value, and then we'll put a semicolon here. So I think that should print also before. No. Invalid syntax. Oof. Can I not put multiple things? Oh, I forgot to parentheses. That's why. Val's not defined? Does this have to be X? Is that the problem? So let's go ahead and take a look at Python lambdas. No. Does it have to have a space? Is that really the issue? Is it really that space sensitive? That could be it. Format at val, random a times b. So here, let me make sure. So I can actually do it inside of the interpreter as well. So it should be it's mixer.setTrackVolume. Zero to 1.0. FL mixer rack object has no attribute set track volume. What? It should, right? Oh, it's because, okay, so set track. Which right here, so volume 0, and then that's 1.0. Oh, the semicolon escapes the lambda? Oh, okay. I don't understand. Yeah, it just needs the single... This is single function. Python lambda tutorial arguments expression. Why use lambda functions? Yeah, this is kind of confusing. Lambdas can only do one expression, not more. Got it. Oh, did my MIDI controller disconnect? Maybe we just need to like restart. Maybe it's just a little bugged out. Let's check out our MIDI settings. Oh yeah, it's like not... Why isn't it even letting me look at the script anymore? That's really weird. Okay, let's just close out and see what's going on. Oh god, it's like dying horribly, actually. What happened here? Okay, well, I mean, kind of a... This would be a lame way to find a bug, but maybe it's a bug. Okay, let's turn the master down because I always forget to do that. And then, so the... Let's go to view script output. Great, the Minilab. So the... Okay, so let's try doing something else inside the... So instead of setting the track volume, let's go ahead and just try and print... Oh. I am a dumbass. This should be divided by 127. I bet you that's what it is. Bet you that's what it is. Nope, never mind. I'm still a dumbass. I was like very confident about that. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's still go with our original idea, which is to go ahead and do, let's print out value, which is going to be here, and then let's do the track index, which is going to be our I, just to make sure that everything is fine, and this will also confirm whether or not it's firing at also. So so format, and then let's give it val and then index. Or sorry, not index, it should be I. Okay, so now we should reload this and hit OK. So the value is correct. The track index is not correct. This is 13. Why are they all 13? Now, is it working on track 13? Let's find out. It sure is. Wait, maybe not. Okay, track 13 should be, I think, 14, right? What is going on here? Get rid of the divided by 127? Excuse me, that shouldn't be the problem though, right? Because this is the value. The value is correct. The value looks right. So it goes all the way up to 1 and then goes down to 0. The track index is the index we have is I. So 0 to lang combined knobs. Right? And I think I'm doing that. Yeah. So like, why is I always 13 on each of these? Are the sliders mapped 0 to 1? No. Let me double check. That still doesn't explain why that's 13 though. Okay, so mixer module, track numbers. Track number 0 is always the master. So I guess we could test this in the interpreter, right? So if we do import mixer, and then we select, let's select track 11, and then mixer dot track number. Oh, I need to actually call it, yeah. Is 11. Yeah, so they're just yeah, it's 12. Yeah, so that's not actually the issue, right? So what's happening when we're printing this? So what's happening is that this is displaying I. So I, for some reason, is always equal to 13 on every knob, when it should only be equal to 13 on the last knob. Does that make sense, right? So like I is what we're iterating through here, right? And is this correct, right? Is this loop correct? Let me make sure of that. Python for each, whoops. Yeah, it should be for iterating var in sequence. Yeah, that's correct. Right, and we can check that also. So like for, if we have, let's actually like kind of sort of recreate the post here. So like knob IDs is this. So if we can copy this and then put it in here. So like then do we get knob IDs? This is like kind of a shady way to do this, but so then combined is equal to knob IDs 0 plus knob IDs ID. Oh Jesus, I can't type. So combined is that. Great. So now for I in range of length. What am I doing? Range 0, comma len of combined. Oh, how do I? Maybe I can't do that. I could at least, at the very least, do len of combined, which is 14. I guess I could always like just print out or print I. So sometimes the mixer volume should happen at the beginning of the script. Yeah, so I mean they're getting, they should be getting saved appropriately. And then if we go, let's go after this. So let's do self dot knob functions at let's say 74. It's not actually going to display us. Oh, I should be printing that. Oh, that's a semicolon. I don't know what I'm missing here. Oh, did you figure it out? Function controller set knobs to mixer volume dot locals. Volume dot okay, that doesn't help me. I will wait for what you figured it out. It's a super weird behavior in Python I've seen before. Like, do I have to set I equal to a different variable? Will that work? Is it something kind of like janky like that? So like track ID is equal to I. And then instead we give, the lambda is checking global scope of I in the lambda. Oh, okay. So like this would work, right? I had like a slight hunch it was something like that, but I didn't want to, you know, say that. Oh no, that's still not working. So I'm just checking global scope of I in the lambda. which by the time the lambda is called, I is always 13. Oh. Okay, so how do I avoid that? That seems really odd. Or like, what is that? Like, I'm happy to search for that. I just don't know what to call that. Like, what? Lambda global variable scope. Oh, this isn't .NET. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, if it exits the loop. Okay, so this is, so currently code is like this: for control and self.controls, you want to connect, signal clicked lambda, and you're mapping some object of control. Great. When you run your code, the lambda function takes control to be the last element in my list of elements. Yep, okay, this is exactly what's happening to me. Splat. What does this mean? These nasty closures. Caveats for the closure enthusiast. Python recipe. Lambda control equals... lambda control. Oh, so you just make it a parameter. You make it a parameter, set it equal to the variable, and then just put it in there. Okay, that makes sense. What a weird little thing. I kind of want to read... about this, actually, because I'm interested as to why that happens. I'll probably do that later, though. That's really interesting. Okay, so... index equals I, and then comma val. I guess what made this track ID. And then we shouldn't need that. Okay, so yeah, that's really odd. So now if we reload our script, non-default argument follows default argument. Oh, okay, that's right. All right, defaults have to be at the end. That's right. Okay. Because Python has good default argument stuff where JavaScript does not. Like Python, you can just say this default argument equals whatever in the function call, which I love. I love. Okay, so track ID. All right, cool. So I think that's fine. Great. So now if we do, this should be 0, 1, 2, bless. Okay, that's fantastic. So now instead of printing that, we're gonna go ahead and do what we wanted to do anyways. So now mixer set track volume is gonna be equal to track ID, comma, val. And we should be setting the val correctly, so that should be great. So let's look. This should be the master. Oh, baby. Insert 1, yes. Insert 2, great. Default arguments can also have weird behavior. Oh, if they're mutable types, I can imagine, yeah. So there is some weirdness, and I don't know if there's like a good way for me to solve this of like, whatever position the knob is at, like it always goes to that position. So there's like a bit of a jump, right? Which kind of sucks, but I mean, I don't think there's like a great way around that, to be honest with you. So this is fine though. I think like this is pretty good. And let's scroll over, or just make this bigger to make sure all of them are working. So this is 12, 12, 13. Fantastic. Yes, this is the master. And then just to prove, I mean, I am proving this works, but you know, just for the sake of, that's the metronome, which gets quieter as we lower the master. Sweet. That's pretty fucking cool. Great. Awesome. So yeah, well, I'm like pretty happy with that. So this seems like, in all reality, right, like this isn't doing a lot, but like holy shit, man, like we have some sort of defaults, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I wish there was a way to like solve sort of the default value problem of like where the knobs are located, but I don't know if there is, because I'm trying to think. My guitar amp has a very similar thing. So I have a modeling guitar amp, which if you're not familiar are like it's like guitar amps with like a bunch of effects on board, and so it has presets, and the presets basically in the software of the amp turn the knobs to certain values to create the presets. So when you do that, there is automatic, when you switch presets, right, there's automatically a disconnect between what the values of certain things are in your amp versus like the physical location of where the knobs are. And I think basically the same thing happens. So if you move your physical knob on the amp, it's basically going to like, it's going to be like, oh, well, now you want manual control. So it's just going to go to wherever the knob is. The only confusing thing here, and like, I guess this is my only sort of complaint about this keyboard so far, is that the knobs don't have notches on them. So like there's no like dot on the top of the thing. So like, and also they don't stop scrolling. So I can't even put my own notches on there. So like that's kind of weird. Like it just keeps scrolling. So that's kind of weird. It makes this like a little harder. But like, oh here, let me do the. Hold on, let me turn them all down. This would be kind of cool. We can do them all at once. Let me minimize. You get out of the way. I can do a little. Oh shit! Hold on. There's still two of them that are up. Oh okay. So it's this one. Great. So then we can do a little. Whoop. Really bad at turning the knobs, but anyways, that's kind of cool. Fuck yeah. I am pretty happy about that. Hell yeah. So now basically the rest of this is like, so this is pretty well set up to where I can now do, I'm going to keep this because this is my like good debugging. I can delete the found the funk thing. So I'm not really outputting as many things. So now also if we, the other thing we can do here is that if we, right now, if you switch to another mode, what we can go ahead and do is do self knob functions equal just to an empty dictionary again. So this will be kind of nice because here we'll do view, script output. Oh, I put it on the other screen. Whoops. Over. So we reload the script. So our knobs are presumably working. Yeah, they're working. They're just covered up by the screen. So our knobs are working, but if we switch modes, then our knobs will... Uh-oh, they'll still work. Oh, I'm not handling that, actually. Okay, so let's just go set that up real quick. So if... if event.sysex, so... Oh, it should work, right? I'm doing switch mode button value. Oh, I'm just not calling. So then we need to do self.init mode for what I need, mode val. Okay, great. So that should work now. So we reload the script. We should, knobs are working. Go to mode 0. Knobs are working. Oh, init mode takes one positional argument, but 2 were given. Oh, that's right. We just call init mode. I made that mistake again. Great, so cool. So reloaded, knobs are working, switch back to mode 0, knobs are working. Then if we switch to mode 1, knobs are no longer working. Oh, didn't find that knob ID. Are the knobs different? Thonk? Okay, well, let's figure that out real quick. That's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. Okay, expected indented block. Oh, I should just return. Or not return here. Oh, pass, that's what it is. Thank you. I was like, I knew there was a keyword for this. Okay, so 74, is that what our... The 74. Oh, it's only, I'm a dumbass. It's only saying that because it can't, it doesn't find the knob ID inside of the knob functions. So I'm actually just not gonna like print that. That's fine. We don't actually need to worry about that for now. Yeah, that's actually fine. So I think that's working as expected then. So again, things should be working here, which they are, but then we go ahead and switch to another mode. Things are not working, which again is fine. We just already have other modes programmed. Cool, that's really sweet actually. So I think everything else I'm gonna do basically requires me just thinking about like what I want to program here. But I think everything I've set up basically gives me the tools to like program as much shit as I want, which is pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna wrap up here, and I am going to go ahead and this will be going on YouTube, and so like. And for those of you watching live, hopefully this like something about this was useful, right? I don't know if everyone's using FL Studio, but I think this was kind of like a fun exercise into like this was like a new feature I literally learned about today, and like it's been 3 hours, right? But like within 3 hours, I now have the ability to like kick drum. I now have the ability to like program my MIDI pad to do more than really like what is out of the box with it, which I think is like super neat. So eventually I will like my plan is basically is that as I start using this more in FL Studio, I'm going to basically customize things as I like them in my workflow. There is that sort of FPC problem I talked about here, the that basically the pad's always playing through an instance of FPC. That's probably the most other compelling thing I want to do. Maybe we do that now. What time is it? 11 o'clock? Okay, well, we're going to take a cursory look into it just because I'm really interested. And I kind of want to play around with that. So the first thing we need to do is, because I don't know if this is possible, this would be a great feature for me. Well, okay, I say great feature. Again, I probably wouldn't use it that much in all reality because what I'm realistically going to be doing is programming drums and then playing them back and then, playing my keys with it too. So I won't... the reality of the situation is that I probably won't do a lot with it, but it'll be cool. So let's go ahead and try and do that. So the first thing we need to do is determine if we can get all of the current channels. So let's go ahead and check and see what we can do there. Oh, so there is an on and knit function, which is great as well. So let's go ahead and define our stuff in there. Def on and knit. So this doesn't take any parameters. So this is actually excellent intersection for all my current interests. Well, fuck yeah, I'm glad it could help. And I'm hoping this, like, I'm gonna try and like, I don't know how the self-promo rules are in the ImageLine forums, but I'm hoping to post it on there and be like, yo, if you like, there's they have tutorial videos provided, but it's like, if you want to see someone like, struggle through it for 3 hours and try and figure everything out with like, going into this, I had absolutely zero knowledge of how MIDI worked in terms of like a technical level, and I think I was able to figure it out pretty well. So hopefully that is helpful to someone. There's probably an FL subreddit too. I should post that. So anyways, I'll do that later. That's not a right now thing. So let's go ahead and look at channels. Great. So we care about channels. Cool. So we can get the number of channels, and then we can get channel names. We don't want channel names though. We want the channel instrument. Right. Show editor for channel and index, focus editor. Oh, what is set MIDI notes? Okay, so let's go ahead and what we're gonna do first is get we're gonna throw an FPC instance into our channel. So again, this So this kind of works right now. And to be honest with you, there's actually a good chance that like this may not work. And I'll be honest with you, there's a very good chance what I do here actually is go into my MIDI utility thing, which controls the MIDI for this. So like that's like these layers, right? And what I'll probably do is set one of these layers to where, so FPC is kind of, so the pads as they are now just go in order. So this is like C, C sharp, D, E, F, F sharp, G, etc. What FPC does though is slightly different. So like if we look at the piano roll for this, so if you notice, like, so you can see the keys I'm playing here. So this is the C. If you notice, there are gaps. So like my first 3 pads work, but then there's a gap, and then there's the snare, and then there's a gap. So what I'll probably end up doing is just reprogramming these drum pads to where like I don't have the gaps. Which, if you're watching this and like you have one of these keyboards, is much easier than like doing the programming part. I'm just, you know, wanting to do it the hard way because it's more fun. But that's the easy way to solve this problem. Is the MIDI utility gives you a really good way just to change the notes that are being played when you press the pad. So it's like a perfect solution for this. Okay, so on init, we want to go ahead and get the length of the channels. So am I importing channels here? I'm not. So we need, that's another module. So import channel. Cool. So channel dot, this is the mixer module. Channels module. We want the channel numbers. Long arguments can be none, equal to 0. Long, I don't know what OFs is. Make me a banger right now. That I cannot do. That I absolutely cannot do. That's why I have this though, so I can practice better, because otherwise I had to use my keyboard, which is like much harder to do things with. So at the very least, I'm excited that I have like an actual keyboard now to do that with. So God damn it. What's up, Cochin? Okay, so channel and then oh, channel count is what I want. Okay, which has no arguments. Okay, so we want the channel count, and then so chans is equal to channel count, and then for I in range 0 to chan. Oh, that's right. I can just provide it the stop, can't I? So like I can just do oh sorry, it should be length of chan. Or no, sorry, this actually just gives me a number, right? Okay, so now we can loop through each one, and then we can get the channel name. So let's just print that. So channel get channel name at I. Hopefully they're 0 indexed. I assume they are, but I guess we'll see. So let's go and reload our script. No module name channel. Did I not just... I imported. Hello? Why is that not working? No module name channel. Oh, it's a module not found error. That's why. Why is channel not a module? Oh, it's channels. Oh, those bastards. I was about to go write an angry forum post that they documented this but didn't put it in there. Yo, Coach, and thank you so much for the subscription, dude. I appreciate 16 months in a row. Holy shit. Bless up, friend. I appreciate the continued support through my inconsistency. Okay, init okay. We got kick, clap, hat, snare, and FPC. Yeah. GM indeed. It's 11 o'clock at night, but it's always a good time for a GM. And you too could have that lovely GM emote if you subscribe to our channel here. I don't normally do sellout spiels, but if you have Twitch Prime, it's free. That's all I have to say. And also, if we get 25 subscribers, we get another emote. And I'm like, it's been a while, but I'm like nearly positive I have another emote. I commissioned a few emotes, and I'm pretty sure I have one ready to go whenever we get 25 sub points. So If that interests you at all, and also you'd be supporting the channel and you get cool emotes and my cool Missouri badge next to your name. If you ever wonder what the state of Missouri looks like, that's what it looks like, baby. Okay, so we have all the channel names now. So we can just say, like, if the channel's name is FPC, but I would like to detect, like, you know, it would be nice to be able to rename those, right? So, like, let's say I renamed it and it's like, it's just drums, you know? Because, like, that's what it is, right? It's just my drums. So that changes it. So is there any way to tell, you know, if that's an FPC instance? Like, that's what I want to know. And I don't know. Let me make sure. Device, general, transport. What is transport? Oh, that's play, pause, stop, and record. Ooh, that would be neat. Okay, so what can we do? Channel selected. So we can get the channel name. We can set the channel name, which is cool. That's the channel number. Turns index of first selected channel. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10. That's way more blunt than I'm willing to do it, but you're not wrong. And also it's only 5, right? So like, it's not even that bad. I don't even know if I have a tier 2 emote. Maybe I do. I don't remember. Okay, so what's the grid bit? I don't know what that is. What are channel grid bits? I've actually never heard of that. Oh, that's not... Oh god, what is my leg is like cramping. Okay, I don't know what those are. I can show editor, I can show the CS form. I don't know what that is. Oh, the grid bit I think is like it's like this. That's the grid bit. Is that you can actually sequence things. Wait a second. I can sequence things? Oh, okay. Hold on. This is kind of cool. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Duncan. Yes. Yeah, I saw the video like 2 weeks ago. I also don't remember who that is. But yeah, that's the very direct way to to engage people. I don't agree, but you know, whatever, I guess. Okay, so just for shits and giggles, I think I can do this. So if we do, so channel 0 is my kick. So I can do set, so channels.set grid bit so index, which is 0, position, let's say 1, or let's say 1, and the value is 1. I want to see if this does what I think it does. It did not. Oh no, it did do it. It did do it. Oh, that's so cool. So I can actually do so this is actually kind of like a neat but really dumb thing. It's what? 1, 4, 8, 12, right? Should be 7. Okay, so now if we reload it. Oh, I was off by 1 there. Oh, it's off by 1 ever. Oh, so it should just wait. 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, 4. Dumb. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Dude, holy shit. This is kind of cool. Are you telling me I could just like press a button and have it do something like that? That's kind of neat. I don't know like a practical application in that, but if I had like, well, if I had preset drum loops I used a lot, right? Like then I could just like press a button and then like have it like run that code to where it does all of that for me. Oh god, there's so many cool potentials for this. This is incredible. You can do so many cool things. Oh my god, all right, I kind of got distracted there, but anyways. Okay, so I really don't know if I can get... I don't know if I can do this, because it only gives me the name of the channel, right? Like, I can't even... select all channels in the current channel group. Set channel pan. I can set the volume, which is nice. I'll probably use that. Wait, get channel MIDI import? Ooh. Okay. Target FS tracks, channel recording events. Neat. Okay, I'll be honest. I have to pee real quick, but I'm gonna come back and work on this some more. Am I? Or maybe I should just call it here. It is 11 o'clock. Maybe I'll just fuck around a little bit off stream. Yeah, I'll probably just call it here. So thank you everyone for a great stream today. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. If you did enjoy this and are interested in like other programming things, maybe the music thing was your jam, or maybe it was your jam, right? And like maybe I'll do more of this. Who the hell knows? Consider hitting the follow button. It's up to the, there you go, that way. It's a little heart up there. You'll get notified whenever the channel goes live. We also have a Discord you can join as well. I'll probably post like more stuff about this if I do it off stream. And then I also have a Twitter as well you can follow. So most of the time our other programming streams, we're working on a board game social media app called Tabletop. So if you like board games or like React Native development or interested in seeing that, that's what we mostly do on this channel. Who knows, maybe if I get confidence enough in my music production abilities, we'll do like an FL stream, but I kind of doubt it. I have a lot to learn and I don't feel, I am the big nervous about doing it live in front of people. So, but who knows, maybe we'll do that anyways. And I also occasionally game stream as well. So, mostly League of Legends, but you know, other stuff as well. So, yeah, that's like my spiel. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I think we should probably go send some love over to someone else who's streaming right now. Let me go see who is online. Who the lovely folks that are around are right now. Ooh, okay, so the Primogen is actually streaming right now, and if you've not watched the Primogen, he is... I actually love watching him. He is very good and is like probably the most energetic coding streamer, TBH. So I'm going to go ahead and send a raid over there real quick. So go say hello if you're interested. If not, then no worries. Have a great rest of your night. You can't see my face, but I'm looking at the camera, I swear. You know, maybe we'll see... I don't know when our next stream will be. I don't really have a consistent schedule right now, so keep an eye on Twitter for when those next streams are coming. But other than that, yeah, we'll see you all later, and thanks for hanging out. This raid works. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and start this raid now, so I will see you all later.
That is a lot of possibility there right there.